The major scale is a 7-note scale. The piano keyboard is conveniently arranged so that if you play only the white keys, you can play the C major scale without hitting any black keys. The C major scale, starting on C, which is the first note to the left of these two black keys, is here. So you may recognize the scale by the sound. That's the C major scale. So we got C1, D2, E3, F4, G5, A6, B7, and we're back at 1 again. We call this the octave. It's the 8th note of the scale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 is the same note as 1, and that's why they call it an octave. 8 like octave like octopus. That's a good way to remember it. So if we look at the intervals of the scale, an interval is the distance between two notes. So the distance between 1, C, and 2, D, is a whole step, which consists of 2 half steps. From here to here is considered a half step, from C to D flat or C sharp. That's a half step, or also known as a minor second. The major scale consists, the second note is 1 whole step above the tonic. The tonic would be C, 1. 1, 2. That's a whole step. That means you skip 1 note. 1, 2, 3. So now 3 is 1 whole step above D, E. C, whole step to D, whole step to E. Now we get to our 4th degree of the scale, F. And you'll see there's no black key in between these 2 notes. So that's a half step. So now our scale is 1, whole step, half step. So that brings us to the 5th degree of the scale, G. And as you can see, there's a black key in between. So that's another whole step. So we have whole step, half step, whole step to G, another whole step to A, another whole step to B, and then a half step brings us home to the octave of C, the C major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, octave. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. If we use the same formula as the keyboard to build a major scale on the guitar, it works exactly the same way. So a whole step on the guitar looks like this. We're skipping a fret, just like we skipped a black key on the keyboard. So our formula is whole step, half step. Then 3 whole steps. And a half step. And that's our C major scale on the guitar. C, D, whole step. Another whole step to E. Then a half step to F. Then 3 whole steps, G, A, B, and then the final half step brings us up to C again, the octave. And the degrees of our C major scale are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Octave, or also 1. 1 is the same as 8. Same note. So we can play the same scale on several strings, and then we won't have to move our hand all the way up the neck. That's why they put so many strings on this thing. So if we were to go to play the C major scale in the open position, that means we're using some open strings in our scale, starting from the same note, C on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. This is our 1, C. The 2, D, is the 4th string open. So we have C, D. That's the same as playing C, D, like that. So C, 1, 2, D, that's the whole step. Now another whole step to E. See, that's a whole step up from the open D. E. Then F is a half step. See, that's just 1 fret higher. C, D, E, F. Now we're going to switch to another string, a higher string. G, that's the open G string. And that's our 5th degree. So we have 1, C, 2, D, 3, E, half step to F, and then a whole step to G. And that's the open G. That's the same as going from here, F, to G. We're skipping that fret right there. So that gives us, now we're at 5, G. Another whole step from G to A. Now we're going to switch to another higher string. That's the open B. And that's a whole step from A to B is a whole step, or we can switch strings. And that brings us to our last note, C. And that's a half step above B. B, C. And C is our octave 8 or 1, same note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, octave. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. If we were to choose another key as our tonic of a major scale, we would have to use some of the black keys. So let's take F, for instance. So if we were going to play the F major scale, this would become our 1, our 1st degree, our tonic. So we have to use that same formula that we used for the C major scale. Whole step, half step. Whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So let's do it starting from here. So here's 1. We got 2 whole steps. F, G, A. So there's our 2 whole steps. Then now we got to play a half step. So that would be B flat. F, G, A, B flat. Then another whole step. C, D, that's a whole step. E, whole step, and then a half step to F. So we had to make a flat right here when we changed our B to a B flat. So now we can play our F major scale by using that one altered note. So the formula is whole step, half step, then 3 whole steps, half step. So I'm going to play the same scale, F major, on the guitar. So now I'm starting on the 4th string, the D string, but on 3rd fret, same fret as we were on C. Here's C, and here's our F. So we got whole step, half step. There's our half step. then 3 whole steps. 1, 2, 3, and then we're back at our F. So let's start with our 2 whole steps, F, G, A. Then we have our half step, B flat, then another 3 whole steps, C, D, E, and then our last half step to F. So, one cool thing about the guitar is, if we take the shape of this scale, of the C major scale, and move the shape of the scale up to F, we can use the same shape to play another key. So now I'm playing F major across these 4 strings, using the same shapes that I used on these strings down here. So if I just move that same shape up to A, I can play A major scale. Here I am at the C major scale, 1 octave higher than here. And I'll just play that same shape. And we're back at our C major scale.